Hey, how's my audio? What's up, Danny? What's up, you guys? We'll let some people get in here. I'm pushing this live onto YouTube also. So let me just get the link. I'll put the link in the IG bio. Oh, I flipped it. Sorry, guys. That's the other side of the studio there. Okay. Audio's good on the YouTube. On the YouTubes. We're just going to hang for a few on IG here. We're live on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Right now, if you're on IG, I'm going to throw it up in our bio here. So if you did want to catch the YouTube stream, you could do that. What's up, everybody? Okay, so if you're on IG and you're a YouTuber, you could check this stream out on YouTube. I'm gonna play an intro video. What's up, Jeremy? What's up, you guys? I don't like the exposure of this. Here we go. Let's try to fix that. It's a little better. Phone's a little confused. What's up, man? So, yeah, we're back on YouTube again. I'm gonna send this little YouTube intro just to kind of make it official while we wait. We'll wait a few more minutes for a few more people here. So. Play a little music here. What's up, you guys? A couple more people in there. Play some type of intro music here for our YouTube crowd.
Look, ayy. When will they learn? You gotta love what you got. Want more than they earn.
Alright. See if we get anybody in here. Give it one more minute. I know I'm a little later than I usually try to do these. Just trying to get stuff knocked out, you know. We've been lucky enough to have a bit of work, so been cutting some videos. Face touch number one, but been cutting some videos and making some small animations and stuff like that. So we've been busy over here. Okay, we got a couple YouTubers. What's up, YouTube? Oh, and a new subscriber. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna give IG like 1 or 2 more minutes, but anyway, we've been fairly busy this last week or two, so that's been good. I hope everybody else has been good. And let's take these off. Kind of drives me crazy monitoring my own audio, but you got to do it sometimes, So, TubeBuddy. Should we talk about TubeBuddy? Is that what you're recommending? So I made some notes here. I know I asked a weird question on IG. Oh, what's cool now is on Instagram. Honestly, I didn't even catch when this was happening, but is my audio on IG okay? I'm assuming nobody's freaking out, so but IG now, you can watch your stories. I wonder if I can pull up my I asked the question. I only did it like 10 or 15 minutes ago, but what is the most essential business right now? Anybody here on the IG stream or YouTube can throw something in there, Obviously, before I go into this, I want to just make a point that obviously everybody needs who would need medical attention. That's the most essential business, and also food. And I labeled this one video the most essential business. And obviously, that's just try to video. I like that. Somebody commented video being the most essential business, which that's what I wanted to start with, kind of. And like I said, no offense to anyone. We'll keep this one kind of short and tight, but no offense to our medical workers, people who are out there still cooking dishes and grocers, and obviously we need medical attention and we need to eat. So before I go into that, I don't want anybody to feel offended. That's not the takeaway I think from this. So obviously for me, video is the most essential business because that's how I feed my children. At least at this point, obviously they got to eat, and in the case that they would need medical attention, I would want that, to be readily available for them. But even considering what some of these grocers or restaurants have had to do, I mean, I could have probably said content is the most essential business right now. We're all kind of sitting at home, trying to figure out what's the right thing to do for us and our family, trying to make an opinion on the information we've been given, and we're trying to all do what's best for us and our families and for our communities and society overall. And obviously, in order to come to a conclusion on what those things are for us, we got to communicate these ideas and stuff. And right now, everybody watching here on Instagram, everybody on YouTube, I mean, you're tuning into a video right now. I mean, I haven't looked at the numbers or anything, but I imagine content, people are taking in, probably such an insane more amount of video and content. Oh, I got to get my audio right on YouTube. Sorry about that, YouTube. It should be better now. Nobody said anything, but I saw my levels. But, it's... Sorry, that threw me for a loop. I hate seeing those low audio levels, man. We're back in there now. It's like I did not spend all this money on this nice mic to not have perfect audio. So anyway, we got to be able to communicate what those plans of action are. And I think, as we come out of this as a company and as somewhat of a smaller crew, we've grown our crew to be as big as it needs to be and as small on occasion as it needs to be, even down to, a videographer or one person or, multiple people. And I will say to anyone out there that might have the need for video or a camera crew to get to your place, as quickly as possible, to send the message of how you're going to bounce back and how you're going to, be there for your clients, maybe your restaurant, for your patrons, maybe your, whatever business that may be right now, there has to be a communication to your potential client, customer, of what the protocol is for returning. I did just get an email from a barber shop, and, they were talking about, because they are within the guidelines of what, at least here in Nevada, what Sisolak, Governor Sisolak has laid out, having less than 10 people in their, okay, sounds good. Thank you for the YouTube feedback. But having less than, 10 people in their shop, because they're a small shop, and so they're already taking the advantage of saying, hey, like we're already in a stance of being able to work within the guidelines. And I guess that's what I'm saying too, is if you're a business out there and you're going to need to make video, you're going to need to make some type of design or asset or assets to show how your best practices are and how they align with what is being asked for in your given state. Or, let's say it's Nevada, we can come in as small as possible. I will say myself and everyone that is on our crew or that we would be bringing onto our crew, has been quarantined the same amount of time that I have. Now I'm at 9 weeks now. And so, in the case that you need that help, we'll come in, we'll follow your protocol. If you want gloves, masks, whatever, we'll take take your leadership on that, and we'll step up in our own and do what's called from us. So, don't let, this kind of reopening be a hesitation to getting back to doing what you need to do that's best for your company and for, your business moving forward. And that's how we feel. And so that's why I titled this one, video being the most essential business, because as we come back now, and I noticed, what's up, Steve? What's up, Gifted Content? What's up, you guys? I try to give people waves here on IG, and sometimes I double tap it and it'll flip to the other side of the studio. So I'm trying to I probably won't wave as much, but what's up, you guys? So video being the most essential business returning, right? We know that, doctors, we got to eat, we need medical available in the case that we need it. But the one consistent thing that's happened over this time is there's so much more video and so much more video viewership. So, that's kind of why I want to start with the topic of video being the most essential business, And like I said, it's not in the sense of, now or whatever, but here in the next couple of weeks, the messaging that comes from a business is going to be pretty pivotal and key to how that business comes back into, comes back from this coronavirus quarantine. Whatever your views are on getting back to work, and that's why I think I brought up the somewhat controversial topic of essential business. And now, we're seeing kind of across the country, people starting to protest, and, as far as someone who needs to feed their family is concerned, their business is as essential as anyone else's, no matter what that line of work might be. And I'm sure there's some people listening to the stream here on IG or on YouTube that may have that same sentiment. And then in the opposing kind of side of it, people are concerned about, coming back, and we're hearing these different things about, potential second wave once we get back to work. But, and that's what we're trying to come to the conclusion of. It's difficult for each of us as individuals and as small business owners too, to decide what that is for us, and I think, to some extent this has been politicized in a way that the numbers are either inflated or used in a way to assist that political side. And I am not going to get into politics or anything. That is not the point of what I'm saying. The point is, regardless of your view or opinion, that will need to be relayed to a broader audience or to your potential clients or whoever that might be. So, ipso facto, here comes video. Here comes photo, video content. I've been working on some animated ads for some spots, and I think that's a great way to catch someone's eye, to deliver a quick message in a short amount of time. And I think, some people think that, maybe it's possible that you have that need and that's not something you had thought about. But, seeing those things kind of come, as we wrap them up and deliver them, seeing how well they come together, and just even watching them back myself, how that messaging might work, and then obviously content, unique content. We're seeing content right now. I saw an image set just driving around, Las Vegas, and what it was I think it was the local paper, and they were showcasing people, pretty much behind the window of their home, standing at their front door. And it was showcasing, people pretty much in quarantine, and, honestly, the imagery, and that's the thing, you can give that feeling, I believe the imagery that I was viewing, because of the feeling that I got, made me want to feel for the people that had to stay inside. But I think the message was also to encourage you to stay inside. And as I look at content and the way it's used and the message it's trying to portray, now we can consistently see, especially from, if you're on YouTube right now and you're watching cut downs of Fox News or CNN or, these things feel very like they're really hounding on the same opinion in regards to our current situation. And, I think it's very efficient, and, it makes you feel some type of way because if you're anything like me, I've been really trying to watch closely of what's going on, the numbers, making moves for my family. And we all have to do that, sorry, I didn't realize this one would get so like, kind of like deep, but it does apply to where we're at right now. I know my kids are getting antsy. They're ready to kind of go do stuff. And honestly, I am too. I'm ready to get back to work. For us, we were able to quarantine and to put ourselves in a position where, we didn't have to worry about, catching the corona or, and then same, our close family and friends, it seems they've been able to do the same. And, I know everybody's been affected in a different manner. So, but what I would say is that there's a consistency in what we're seeing content wise. And the point I bring that up is, as CNN does those cut downs and maybe it's them speaking or maybe it's shots of the president making kind of him look a little foolish in what he's saying. And then, Fox kind of in the same tone, or not the same tone, but the opposing side, I feel like there's some, it's very efficient, to feed that messaging over and over and over and over and have people in one mind thought and then feed it to them again, and bring them right back to it, and that's the hard part, making decisions and coming back. We've been extended till the middle of May. I talked to some of my buddies in the Midwest, they've been back to work for weeks. And, as far as what I've spoken to them in the last few weeks, they don't really have a ton of people they know personally, that have been affected in an extreme manner. So the more people it seems that it comes out, it seems like it's fairly isolated to, these specific areas. But, what I would say is that it's very efficient to keep someone who's thinking in a way in that same mindset. So the point being is that they're using video and cut downs, and, we know this watching Fox or CNN or really anyone, now let's go to like smaller creators or channels. You say Vice is like, I don't want to say like smaller. I mean, they still have YouTube has such an incredible reach. I mean, Joe Rogan's reaching way more than both of these networks. But as far as the networks go, you can keep someone in that idea. So the point being that the consistency of video, does definitely have an influence in what people are thinking and how they're thinking about things. And I think now looking at either side, you can say, oh, okay. And I think that's where there's a potential for a business to, use content and we're seeing it a lot, but we're still not there yet. This is like the seventh stream we've done since we've been locked in. I think in the last 7 streams in the last like 6 weeks or something. And we started with this conversation, I think, of like, how do we think about dealing with the situation right now? And then I thought maybe 2 weeks ago, we were to the point where we start thinking about how do we come back? And, things are so ever evolving that the conversation can keep changing. And, now I think we're actually getting target dates of when we're going to start these phases and where we're going to get back to things. But it's very easy with how you manipulate video and cut, pull things out of conversations and take sound bites to, tweak things in a way to, share your, I kind of hate this term, but your narrative. Anytime there's a narrative, there's a story, and so, there's an opportunity for small businesses, middle-sized businesses, to use content to get that message out. You can remind people over and over again that you are the place to come because you're the most thoughtful, considering, maybe what their fears are And weeks ago, I mean, maybe in the first stream, I was talking about restaurants and how they'll have to have such a crazy protocol. Well, now we're actually to that point where you have to have that dialed in, and then not only that, but you have to deliver that messaging. I think I used the example of Home Depot weeks ago, and I heard the story of someone coming up to Home Depot and seeing a line, but they had just been there the day before. They needed tools and equipment, but they had just changed, the fact that they were going to, stagger people every 6 feet and then line them up outside. So, they didn't know what to do really, and you couldn't tell the front of the line. You couldn't tell the back of the line. Nobody was out there taking charge, as far as giving people direction. And so there was just kind of confusion, and that's an interesting word to bring up now because, all the things I've said and the different angles that have been taken, it's hard as a small business or a head of a family or just an individual person to decide right now what is the best thing to do for yourself and when should you really be trying to push your small business back out there. Obviously, we have some mandates. I don't know if that's the word for it, but we have some guidelines as far as what we can and can't do coming back, which, depending on your views, I guess, can kind of be concerning when you consider that we are a free nation. And like I said, I'm not going to get into the politics, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm really just trying to bring, to the point that video, not only moving forward, but through this whole time, photo, video, and content have been the most essential business to these most essential businesses. And, coming back, they will, video and content creators, animators, designers, I think there's a ton of potential, for there to be a ton more work in this field. As we can see, every field, every industry needs some type of message to be delivered and some story to be told. I mean, there's going to be incredible stories. To some extent, I'm looking forward to getting opportunities to tell some of these stories, and that's kind of interesting because like I just said, you can cut down. I mean, I do interviews all the time and, really you're trying to get the best out of that interview. You go in with an idea of who you're talking to. And, a lot of times I'm doing interviews right after a live event happened. So I need a general idea of, okay, first of all, these are the talking points the client needs, considering the talent, considering they just got off the stage. I did an interview in Miami just before this all happened around Super Bowl, with a pretty relevant rapper actor. And he, it was Ludacris. I mean, I can say that, whatever. The stuff's already live. So I will say, man, that guy is about his business. When we were standing there, he knew his talking points. He asked us about, what is kind of the angle and the things he needed to cover for the brand. And, it's pretty cool interview, but point being, he just got off stage. I had to consider his time. I mean, when you get to that kind of high level celebrity and you've got that interview time, I mean, it's literally to the second that they allow you to speak to that person. So point being is you got to quickly get to the guts of what you need them to say, or what, you want to give them the direction of what you want them to say pretty much, And so there's a variety of ways to do that. Obviously you want to make people comfortable and have them kind of prepared with what that is. But, when it comes to that messaging, as a business or whoever you are, you have to determine, what that story is, and I am hoping we do get to do some type of documentary work around, some of these stories. I think that's kind of the more, our opportunity as far as giving back goes, and that's kind of what we do as a business. When the opportunity arises to, we had the opportunity to take care of a local junior high basketball team, a couple of them, and work with some kids, you know, getting them photo packages and making a short and year roundup video, you know. And generally with kind of our client base, you would think we would stray from that type of work, busying that. But when those opportunities come, we definitely dive into them and see how we can be a part. And that's what I put in, you know, as kind of our like giving back kind of initiative, you know. Even though we're small, you know, we're growing quick, and I always want to make sure that, like, you know, we're taking opportunities to be a part of something like that. And I think that's, you know, one of the things about, you know, personal responsibility and freedom is, you know, because we feel that we're privileged and blessed with the opportunity to work and the opportunity to work with such amazing people and clients and work on just cool stuff, man. Like, really, you know, I feel very fortunate that, you know, I get to pick up a camera and I get to meet, like, it gives me the butterflies thinking about it. Is, you know, I've been able to go all over the world, really, and just meet the most unique, interesting people and connect with them in a way where we can finish a project together and it be intense and exciting and then feel good and walk away. You know, I think back to when we were in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and you know, we were working with these models. They're skaters, and actually they're professional roller skaters in Brazil. And we had a pretty serious language barrier. You know, I don't speak Portuguese, and, you know, they didn't really speak great English. You know, they could understand some things, but what translated was the energy between us and the fact that, you know, so as from the director standpoint, although there was a language barrier, we had a translator, but it was a live event, so we were stuck on time. And there were still a bunch of intro shots I needed. The party started picking up, so we were running out of room. It was a very small venue. And what was really neat was, I just touched my face. That's 2 face touches. Sorry, guys, I'm tired. What do you want? I'm quarantined. What do you want? But what was neat working with them was we had such an amazing time. There were so many laughs, and seriously, we didn't understand what each other were saying, but we got the shots we needed. And it just got to the point where I would have to stand in as them just to get the shot quickly and show them the action I needed. And they started to buy in, but I really had to be animated about how I wanted their head to turn over their shoulder. And, you know, there were some shots where I needed them, and we're in like maybe a 20-foot space, you know, 20 by 10-foot space. And I needed them to skate backwards and then do this spin. And, you know, right off the bat, you know, it was like a little challenging. But then once they realized, like, yo, you know, we're going to have fun here and we're going to have good energy while we do it. You know, I was making them laugh. And, you know, I think everybody else who was involved and watching, they had that same kind of feel. And those are the neat, awesome things. It was almost like a flow state between all of us, that we all knew that we had to get this delivered. We had an understanding. I had a translator who could explain it to them. And then once the explanation was there about what we were trying to go, and I was like, okay, just tell them to do what I do and follow my lead. And sure enough, that translated. And next thing you know, we just got some amazing shots, and it really tied into like some beautiful footage and ultimately some beautiful deliverables. But, you know, that was neat. You know, I feel very fortunate that's what I get to do, and that I get to connect with people like that. And I know I had mentioned in the last stream is like, and I was talking to a buddy this week, and he's, you know, questions about like design, and he's doing some of his own things, and he just wanted some, you know, really just to talk to someone about it. And, you know, I encouraged him, and, you know, I said, you're a skilled designer, like amazing. And just giving him some direction or whatever. But I said, you know, the thing is you're intimidated looking at these portfolios, which he shouldn't be because his portfolio is insane. But, you know, you have some hesitation because you see the great work that other people are doing, but you're a great dude, you know, and people are drawn to that. And you leave people with the feeling that you're going to be taken care of, and at any point, if you needed to drop and just work constantly, you'll do it, and then that you'll collaborate with that client or individual. And at the end of the day, they'll feel great. Like you're a good guy and you care about those things, and the other thing too about him and I think about us and what we do is he loves it. He is doing this whether somebody's paying him or not. And, same with us, I'm me, myself, the rest of like our small group and extended, anyone we've hired as like a vendor or, any of our retainer people, these are good people, and I always say that's what I'm looking for. It's obviously the work and the skill has to be there, but if you're not someone I can have those type of experience with on set, or you buy in the same way that I do, then it probably isn't going to work in that way. And people have their skills and personalities, and that's the neat part is working with different personalities. But there's one thing we can all tie back to, and that's, getting the job done, and let's try to enjoy the work too. So anyway, we feel very fortunate that we get to do those things. And even in the meantime, the fact that we had work already, I've been working again with some more clients. I had Siler on last week, which was super awesome. He had some really great insight, and we've been working on some stuff that's going to be upcoming. So, I feel our business ramping up. I don't think it ever fully ramped down, which we're very fortunate for that. But, I'm excited to get some of like, some of the folks of our extended team a little bit more full-time with us again. We're small enough. We didn't have to lay anyone off or anything like that. But, I do have, videographers, designers, animators that I work with regularly that I would like to get back into that. And we were just on the verge of hiring a couple more people. And obviously we had to halt that with kind of, just where we were at with things. And then in the meantime, in the studio and with some of the edits and animations, I've been kind of taking care of those. And then, I did work with another, one of our guys on getting some other things done. But, I'm excited to get people going again in these projects, because that's what I realized when we bring someone on, having that great mentality and skill set. But I noticed that they also enjoy it. And that's the point, at the end of the day, you want to feel satisfied with your work, and I think the two big pieces of satisfaction I take away is if, one, I gave it everything I had and I put the most I could into it, or, and then two is that, even in the midst of being exhausted and wore out, I enjoyed it, or I enjoyed the end product, animating, editing, shooting, these things. People from the outside look at them and say like, oh, you're just making videos, but the amount of thought process and like mental exhaustion that goes into thoroughly digging out a story, or making sure that when you get back to that edit bay, or you're sitting down with an animation, that you have either, the shots that you needed or the assets prepared properly. And, that's very time consuming things. And it really does take all you got. And if you understood my hours this last week, you would probably be like, wow, I think I most certainly, yesterday I worked, I don't know. It's been crazy, but in a good way, and I have no complaints. But anyway, back to, bringing back video and content, that's going to be key, and we have all these essential businesses, and now we're starting to see, people speak out and explain that their business is essential. And we really feel that way about what we do is that it's essential. Us getting back to work is essential to, me hiring, my usual video, my shoot, my creators, editors, and animators. I mean, I could think of about 5 people right now that if our business would have stayed steady, I would have been able to bring aboard, and, they would have worked, at least a week, 2, maybe 3 or more weeks, and we would have been able to hire them. So us as a small business getting back to work actually, trickles over to other people. And I've talked to, some friends, right as this extended, we saw, MGM have to lay off a bunch of people, and Vegas Vegas needs people to come. And I know that can be kind of scary and at this moment, but you have the head of Win. He's really, setting some guidelines and standards, and he's really on the forefront of getting back to it. And, a lot of respect to him for speaking out, and, respect to other people for speaking out about what they think and their opinions too. And, we used to, as Americans, at least growing up, and maybe before this, obviously, is we used to be in agreement that we had some specific, God-given rights, constitutional rights, which we do. And those aren't not there in law, but it seems they're missing society, in society. We have the cancel culture. If you say something against whatever the grain is, people just want to shut you off more than they want to actually have a dialogue. And I think as a small business, that can kind of be the concerning point of all this is, we should be able to agree that I have the freedom to what I feel and you have the freedom to what you feel, no matter what you need to say or what I need to say. At the end of the day, we are fellow Americans. We have, constitutional rights, and it's a right to work. It's a privilege to have a job. And I definitely take it that way. And, I feel very fortunate anytime my phone rings or I get a text message or, somebody says, hey, I need whatever. You could say, I need a 15-second cut down, or I need an hour-long cut, whatever the size of job it is. Hey, I need you to come with the big crew. Hey, I need you to come with the small crew. I'm excited to figure it out. Anytime I feel stressed and overwhelmed, I just remind myself, like, man, I'm thankful. Like, I feel very fortunate and very grateful that we can keep working, But I do think, whoever is on the stream, whoever is, out there talking to other people, let's remember that, like, as Americans, we have some God-given rights here, and it's us to have an opinion. It's us to have like a say. And, we're hearing, consistent, we're trying to follow science and this and that. Well, the most consistent thing we know that's happened is the confusion around everything. And let's not be confused that we still have these rights and these rights to our opinions and our voice. And so, whatever is thought out there, you can see from different people, maybe their job or their lack of a job, or the fact that they had one and lost one, or the fact that they've had one all this time, can seem to like skew a little bit their opinion of the situation and also what they're actually going to listen to from someone else. And so I just think that, we have to remember that, we have to remember at the end of the day, we want to come out of this with the same amount of freedom to work and feed our family that we went into it with. And that needs to be our ultimate goal, and not, I can never say this word, politicization of a pandemic, and, so I think, coming out of this as Americans, we have an opportunity to like sync up a little bit more instead of being so divisive and letting our opinions separate us. Our opinions should bring us together, and we should be able to hear each other, and so anyway, as a small business, we feel we're essential, and, we're excited to like get back to it. Like I said, our work's ramping up. We've been able to do studio work and edits, but, the more I get back to work, the more I know at least maybe 2 handfuls of people get back to work, and to me, that's exciting. I'm talking to these people. I'm talking to guys that I usually get to bring on every couple weeks or every month. I got this awesome dude I was just about to put on a retainer, and, I had to pull out of that, and he understood like the work hadn't come through yet, because the work got pushed back. And so his retainer was based on a specific contract. And, it would just really bring me so much joy to reach back out to him right now and say, hey, they're ready to move forward. Let's get you going monthly. And, that's pivotal. That's pivotal for how we expand our business and the things we need to do in the interim to get things going. I'm putting this stream together on YouTube and everything, right? And I've ordered this gear, and I have a ton of gear. Like, we're geared up to our ears up, and, but I need the tools, and I need, the hands to be able to do this appropriately. I need one person in studio to do this the way that it deserves to be done, and the way our skill level actually, mounts. I mean, if somebody else was sitting in this chair and I could be back there on the board, or, feeding them, maybe you're with a bigger company, or, someone whose job was steady, and so you can't quite understand that, a small business would want to bounce back. But, please believe, some of these small businesses, I know a business that, they probably got like 20 dudes and chicks, whatever, that all of them are now on unemployment. And knowing most of them, like, I know they want to work. It's a privilege to work. They get to do what they want to do once they earn that money, And I just don't want jobs or work or business to ever seem like a negative thing. I mean, everybody on this thread, I mean, I'm looking at, Nikki and Steve and Dave, like all these people here, Jeremy, all these people who have worked. I mean, and I don't know the detail for all of you guys, but I have an idea of what you do. And so you have put in blood, sweat, and tears. And that's the most rewarding thing, is when you can do that and you have something, or a check, just make it a check, make it a week, whatever it calls. But I mean, that's the thing that really inspires you to keep going, And so I'm excited to get back to it and to be inspired, and I feel blessed that I have this space out, this space, and I've been able to be in the studio and work with my gear and, tweak some things and fix some things and things that needed to be done. But, now I'm ready to get back to where I can bring in these really young, talented people, young, older, all sorts of ages, ethnicities, you name it, different opinions, people all over, really, I guess I did, I worked with a designer in Argentina just recently, just on some other small project that was out there. But every ethnicity, every type of person, every type of opinion has worked with Made Good Company. And I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of the fact that, we're going to come back into this, and however this works out, and when business gets back to it, I'm excited that we've stayed steady, and I've stayed in touch with people, and work's ramping back up. And my goal is to not only get these people that we can reach and that we hire back working and back, making money for themselves and their family, but, I want to go beyond that. We want to do something that's like beneficial to the community, something that tells a great story, that inspires people. And, we're inspired. I'm inspired. And, I hope everyone here listening is. And, think about the work you've put in. Think about the time. Don't let that frustrate you. Let that inspire you to like do something different, do something new. Maybe it's something different within what you're doing now. Maybe it's something totally new. Maybe it's time to shift gears. Like I said, I've talked to a few people, and they're definitely ready to switch gears. And I'm encouraging them in that direction. And because you can hear their passion, and it's not like it's these people specifically I know really well, but this wasn't the first time they brought this to me. So, you could see where all of us are reevaluating, how to go about things. But the one thing that we can all agree on is, hopefully, is that, the opportunity to work is a privilege, and it's a beautiful opportunity. And that, here's the truth is, you leave your house right now, there's a risk. You driving to your job, at this moment, the way at least the numbers I'm being shown, it seems riskier to drive to work than it is to actually be at work working around people. And so let's remember that, that there was never not a risk. And, we all have to digest this the way we do and to be smart about it. But, be inspired that this is bringing about new opportunity and new privileges to do new different jobs and new different things. And then also pick back up in the things that you were doing. Like I've been thinking about these videos we've been constructing, and I've been able to watch them in over and over and dissect them, and now it's like, oh, okay, I can see how we can do this a bit differently, or how maybe if I brought in this type of tool or this type of designer or this type of whatever piece of equipment, how it can be better. And obviously there's some things you got to do, on the way to that. But, I really do think, if that's something you're thinking and you're putting your mind to, it's something you can do. And, so yeah, I mean, I kind of got on a tangent there, but we're excited to get back to work, and please believe as we get busier, other people will get busier. And as I find more opportunity and more projects come to me, when I get off this stream right now, I got a call with someone about some music video work on the East Coast, and I don't think we're going to be getting out there to shoot it, but they need some post-production work done, and it's for a fairly big artist, so that's exciting. But I'm excited to get that. Like I said, with this project alone, I'm pretty sure I can bring in 2 more of my guys. There's all of a sudden 2 more people working. Small businesses have a big impact, and so I'll wrap it. I think we're at like, I don't know. This is like 40 minutes. I got a little rambly, but, all in all, if anyone out there is concerned or they need to make content or whatever, and, but they're a little nervous about things and they just want to know that whoever's coming in is going to be wise and be as concerned about their business as they are, hit us up. I can come as a skeleton crew, we can come one man, or we can bring in a bigger crew and we can all follow the same protocol. We'll take your leadership as far as what you want us to do. And, and we have our own, we have our own that we've been kind of jotting down and writing up, and, we'll have our preliminary and we'll discuss it with you before we're ever on site. And before we arrive, it will be understood how we approach, your office, your business, your client, your talent, your employees, so we're excited to get back to it. And like I said, I only say get back to it in the sense of getting out and starting to shoot some more video. Like, we obviously there's been enough studio work for the last few weeks. So, I want to get more people aboard and just keep growing this thing, keep the momentum and, keep bringing that same kind of fortunate opportunities that I've received to like other people, and I realized in these last few weeks with the people that have hit me up, how like, how I don't take that for granted, and how it is just amazing to collaborate with other amazing like businesses, designers, animators, editors, camera operators, and their unique perspectives and all that, and of all different ethnicity and beliefs and interests and all that. I want to kind of hear it all. But one thing, like I said, and I'll end on that we can agree on is that, at the end of the day, like you have a right to what you say, and I too have a right to what I say, and we can still be friends, and we can still move forward together, and we can still work together. We can, business shouldn't be politicized, and, it doesnand need to be. At the end of the day, you're human, I'm a human, we're all humans, so, and let's be smart. Everybody be safe out there. I'll wrap it here on IG, and then I'll wrap it on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It was like a little quicker. The week got away from me last week, so I didn't really get to do a lot of like prep work, and, we're still dialing in some graphics. I still got like 1 or 2 pieces of gear. Amazon's taking all its time, but, considering it's been a lot of fun to get these streams up, and, like I said, I already have 3 or 4 guests lined up. But I really want to, Siler was awesome last week, but I really want to do a Zoom type FaceTime. So I think this week, I might not go live next week, but I'm going to push something live, and I think it'll be a pre-recorded interview, but I'll get it live shortly after. re-record it so it still feels like relevant and fresh. And yeah, I mean, the people coming on are super interesting. And, you know, if anybody wants to hit me up or has any questions or just wants to chat, FaceTime, you know, feel free to hit me on IG. You can hit me on YouTube. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this IG. I'll catch you guys later. Let's see. All right, I'm going to save this, share the story. All right, so we're on YouTube. Let me send it out. Let me send it out properly. Put the headphones on here. Let's see what we got here. So let's see what we got. So let's see. All right, YouTube. So I'm going to put a little note here if you enjoyed it. So if you like this talk, please consider liking and subscribing. See you next week. Okay, I'm gonna try to do one of these again on Friday. If not, I'm live every Monday, but these are gonna pick back up as I can get somebody else in the studio. We're gonna really blow out the production here. We have the equipment, we have the skills. We just need a little bit more manpower. And you know, we stuck with our social distancing, and we didn't bring anybody else in the studio so far. So, you know, I've seen other podcasts, other streams. You know, they're just doing it how they do it, and you know, no judgment to them. You know, let them do their thing. Everybody has their own risk to take. Let me just cut some music in here. All right, I got to get these levels figured out too. We're gonna get it. So, all right, we're gonna wrap it. You can hit me up here, hit me up on IG. You can email me at mike@madegoodco.com. And, you know, everybody be safe, be smart, do the best thing for your family. And just remember, we're all Americans. I mean, some of us aren't maybe tuning into this, but at the end of the day, I believe you have a right to your opinion, and same for me. And let's do what's best for us, you know. Let's think about it. Let's get back to work. You know, let's be smart. You know, everybody, you know, be smart and stay safe. I'll see you next time. Tell your sister come, let my come, spark that J, roll it.